you're out riding around solo, having a good time working your way through traffic when you get to a stoplight. And to your surprise, another bike pulls up right next to you. Not your buddy, but a stranger. Then to your horror, as you proceed to ride forward, they're right next to you, in the same lane. Hi, I'm Ian with Sasquatch Moto, and today's episode, we go over riding etiquette. If you want to prevent committing any faux pas, trying to be politesse while still mastering savoir, I'm here to steer you clear of any gaucherie or lapses in faute de go, ho ho ho. There. Now Ryan F9 can follow along. For the rest of us, back to English as I go over how not to be a dick while riding. As always, I make a video showing a couple tips or tricks, only to learn so much more from you guys in the comments. If I miss something, or if you guys have a better way of explaining it, please let us know. Let's learn together. Post something down there. I'll read it, I'll try and comment. Maybe I'll give it a thumbs up, I don't know, we'll see. Depends on your comment, probably you're gonna get a thumbs up, and let's learn together. Now I'm gonna start with group riding basics. This one is not so much about offending people as it is about safety. When riding in a group, we need to think about different skill levels. It's best to put the newest and least experienced riders in the front. Judging corners and braking distances are some of the hardest concepts for new riders. You don't want them trying to keep up with the old pros while they're still learning. And this might mean a slower ride for the group, but a safer ride. Now, there's always exceptions, but this is just a general consideration that should be on everyone's mind when forming your group ride. Bike positions should always be staggered when moving and side by side when you're at a stop. And this just gives everyone more room when riding if a sudden stop or swerve is required. And when coming to a stoplight, go ahead and slowly stack back up to save space. Being side by side at a stop also keeps cars from trying to merge into your group. Get out of here, car, you're not a motorcycle. Just be sure not to swerve like a drunken sailor when you're taking off again so you don't bump uglies with your buddy. If you're not comfortable being side by side when stopped, be sure to tell your friends before the ride. And just stop in the middle of the lane, letting folks know that you don't want to get cozy. Communication before the ride is key, and having a pre-ride chat that includes an emergency plan and predetermined stops or resting points picked out ahead of time is going to be key. Be sure to let everyone know where you'll be meeting in case the ride gets split up, or if somebody's a little bit slower or faster throughout the day. Now, we do a lot of group rides around the Pacific Northwest. Sometimes we ride with just adventure bikes, but sometimes it's a full mix of sport to adventure to cafe and everything in between. So we're typically not stacked up perfectly once we get in the twisties, and that's okay. When riding like this, the most important part of the ride is what we call riding your own ride. And this simply just means don't expect everyone to ride exactly like you do. If you want to go full speed, great. If you want to trail behind, that's okay. We'll just meet up at the next stop. Have patience with others and don't ride over your skill set. Let's talk about passing. This is going to be unique to each situation, but here are some general guidelines that can help. Make sure it's in a good spot and watch for any sign that that slow car in front of you isn't slowing because he's about to turn left. Maybe his turn signal's out, so watch for driveways and turnouts they might be slowing down for. You don't want to have a car pull out in front of you while you're going passing speeds. Make sure you use your turn signals, both while passing and re-entering your lane. Also, don't forget to turn your turn signal off. You know how I feel about this one. You'll probably be thinking whether you have enough room or not, but you also need to be thinking, does your buddy that's following close behind you have enough room to pull in as well? I don't suggest passing with more than a couple of riders, but there's a lot of really slow-ass cars out there, so use your best judgment. And the last thing I want to touch on about passing is, don't be a jerk about it. You don't need to trigger a road rage situation with a vehicle that's 10 to 20 times your bike's mass. Don't forget that you may be seeing that same driver you just passed face to face if you happen to have a similar destination or stopping somewhere along the way. Part of riding etiquette is to wave at other bikes. It's kind of code around here. You don't have to wave at those three-wheeled things or the stuff with steering wheels or scooters. You also don't have to wave across the freeway, several lanes of traffic, or if you're stuck in traffic and using both hands, a simple head nod will do the trick. Now don't be surprised or offended if somebody riding an American-made bike, like a Harley-Movingson, doesn't wave right back. Sometimes they can be grumpy. Waving at other bikes to me is letting the other bikes know that we've got your back. Whether it's helping a fellow biker on the side of the road or going the extra mile if there's a bike that's gone down. It's a nod that we're not in a cage and we're pretty vulnerable out here, but we're in this together. Those are all good things to do. Let's go over what not to do. Don't pull next to a motorcycle at a stop sign or a stoplight if you don't know them, and especially if they're not expecting it. Don't ride like a jerk in traffic, just to catch up to another bike so you can wave. Or just don't ride like a jerk. Don't do wheelies or stunts in traffic. Save that for the back roads or parking lots where you won't get laughed at as bad when you eventually crash. Please wear your gear, because the worst fashion faux pas you can make while riding a bike is not wearing the gear and dying. All right, if I got anything wrong or if you've got a better way of explaining something that I've discussed, like I said earlier, please let me know in the comments. I try real hard to reply to as many as I can, and let's learn together. Last but certainly not least, my final thought for you today. This hobby is about the journey, not the destination. So don't forget to have fun. Enjoy the ride and be safe. And I hope to see you out there. And to Ryan F9, arrivederci. Thanks for watching. Happy squatching. Savez-vous. That's good enough. That doesn't even make sense. Nice. Bikes.
And that was the exact moment Ian lost his mind, due to the bicyclists shouting back and forth while they blocked the cars behind them. Happy squatching.